Kumasi, a dozen affiliates across the country, including ATL FM in Cape Coast, Radio Max in Takrady, and A1 Radio in Bolgatanga. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is proudly brought to you by Telesol 4G, just a touch, and also by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, DigiBank, Let's Go. And coming up, 13 health workers in Central Region town of Moray test positive for COVID-19. We'll bring you the very latest. Assembly members at Takwanswaye clash with police during MCE confirmation election.
Honorable members, you should enter and go and vote.
We're live on the ground. And how do you live with the virus? Ghanaians speak up about government's campaign towards lifting COVID-19 restrictions.
To me, right now, I feel like a child without a father. You see, in Upper West here, it is not easy to live with this virus.
I don't know how we are going to cope with this issue, this virus, as part of our normal life.
We should also be thinking about the fact our district assemblies are not doing anything in the market area.
Minority in Parliament requests Electoral Commission appears before the House to brief them on preparations for election 2020.
We hear all sorts of things about what EC is doing or not doing. I think it's important that the chair of the EC or the Electoral Commission is brought to this House.
And in sports,
former Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah going public about his unpaid salary has been described as unfortunate by GFA President Keto Kraku.
And on Sportslight today,
that's why everybody like my thing.
So like me like this, they will call me Kinsley Phillips. Phillips, yeah, but because of situation in the economy, so Charles Niyama Mensah, very local.
And we are definitely up close with African dancehall king Shatta Wale, who stopped at nothing to wow his wild fans. All that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. And this afternoon, 13 health workers in the Central Region town of Moray have tested positive for the virus. The health workers are among those who were managing suspected cases of fisher folk who returned from neighboring Ivory Coast. Even though some of the health workers claim they are being made to work despite their status, health authorities at the district have discounted such claims. Central Region correspondent Richard Kujunyako has more on this. He joins us with details. Richard, how are authorities actually dealing with this situation? 13 health workers.
At the moment, 5 out of the 13 staff who tested positive for the virus are at the treatment center, while the remaining 8 have been told to self-isolate. They include a driver that carries the health staff during their rounds to the centers. The staff, we are told, were the ones that took care of the returnees from Cote d'Ivoire and the other neighboring countries who entered the country by sea. Now, the returnees were quarantined and waited for the mandatory 14 period, but some tested positive and are undergoing treatment. All of them are asymptomatic. They've not shown signs and symptoms for now. Their test results were given them on Wednesday. That's the staff, the health staff. In my earlier interaction with some of the health workers who tested positive for the virus, they told me that even though they are tested positive for the virus, they were made to work, and this hasn't gone down well with them, because they believe if they continued working, they could infect others as well. They further claim that they were told by authorities that they would be given some medications to boost their immune system so they could continue to be working. But these claims of the health workers have been discounted by the health authorities. The authorities say such persons have not been asked to do so. And so, these claims, they say, are false.
So you've been speaking to the District Health Directorate. You've been discounting the claims, though. But what are they doing about the reduction in staff at this time?
Well, so I spoke with the District Director of Health Services, Gifty Ankra, who is the District Director for Abra Sebuku Amankese, about the reduction in their staff strength and whether they wouldn't be struggling to manage the cases under them. She indicated that, yes, it's a major blow, but they are strategizing to ensure that the work still goes on. They will continue to manage the cases that they have, looking at the fact that the Mori community is a fishing community and the population there is about half of the entire district. And so they are going to still manage until the situation subsides.
Well, that's my colleague Richard Kujunyako following that situation. We head to the Western region now.
Honorable members, you should enter and go and vote.
And there was a clash this morning between police and some assembly members in the Takwa Nswaye municipality during an election to confirm MCE nominee Benjamin Kese. Correspondent Ina Thalia Kwensa joins us on the line with more on this. Ina, what's the background to the story?
Okay, Mr. So, the 12th of May, the MCE Gilbert Asma's appointment was terminated. So the president had nominated Benjamin Kese. On Wednesday, the assembly members, which is 42, went to confirm him. During the confirmation, 20 of them voted no, and then 22 voted yes. And they needed to confirm him. So they had announced that after 10 days, they would come back to reconfirm him. But this morning, there was an information that some 21 assembly members were in their votes, and leaving 22 out of the confirmation exercise.
But Ina, I'm curious, assembly members meeting to vote when there's a ban on gathering and all, does it not apply to them?
Yes, it does, but there is social distance. In the assembly hall, they have made spaces in which they could vote where there wouldn't be a crowded area for them. So there is space within the assembly for them to vote. That was what happened on Wednesday.
So have we finally resolved the issue? Have they finally endorsed the MCE?
Yes, the MCE has been endorsed by 21 assembly members with 19 voting yes and then 2 voting no. But these 22 who were struggling to enter into the assembly hall were not allowed to vote. So these 22 are saying that they are going to court to put an injunction on the MCE who has been confirmed this morning.
That's my colleague Ina Thalia Kwensa reporting from the Western region, staying on voting and its related issues. The minority in Parliament is requesting officials at the Electoral Commission to appear before them to brief them on plans ahead of the 2020 elections. Adaklu MP Kwame Agbuja and Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu made the request for their invitation a while ago.
Charlotte Ofe, as the chair of the Electoral Commission, and we elicited whatever we wanted to do, hear from her. Mr. Speaker, we are going into an election in a few months. We hear all sorts of things about what EC is doing or not doing. I think it's important that the chair of the EC or the Electoral Commission is brought to this House to update members of Parliament exactly on what she or the Commission is doing to ensure free and fair elections in December. Mr. Speaker, anything short of this would have been an act of preventing members of Parliament, the people's representatives, the opportunity to interact with the EC so that we can report back to our constituents to prepare adequately for this year's election.
That's the Adaklu MP Kwame Agbuja. The Majority Leader Osei Chairman Sabunzi says he's in touch with the Commission for their possible appearance next week.
To update the House on free and fair elections. I don't know what exactly he means by that. The functions of the Electoral Commission are stipulated in the Constitution, and nothing can be added to that. Regarding the program that they intend to follow, again, that program was set out in the budget that is submitted to us. The Speaker, I believe he wants maybe further details, which is what the Minority Leader requested the other time. And we said that we engage the EC. In fact, even yesterday I did. They indicate to me that they will get back to me today.
Now, Joseph Opoku-Gakpo joins us on the line. Did the submission of the Majority Leader satisfy the minority?
I don't know what to say.
Hello, Joseph.
Hello, Emefa.
Okay, so the Majority Leader had a response to the minority's invitation or request for invitation of the EC. Did that satisfy them?
It looks so. From the indication given by the Minority Leader, there's been some backroom deliberations on what the way forward should be, and now they're just awaiting the green light from the Electoral Commission so that sometime next week they could possibly fix a date for their appearance. A number of other issues came up. Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa raised questions that the report the President submitted to Parliament a few weeks ago on the number of presidential staffers, it conspicuously had missing about 5 ministers of state. He listed those, and he's been questioning the majority leader about whether there's been a reshuffle of a source that Ghanaians are unaware of. That also is something that the majority leader says they would look into that, and eventually he will come back with a response. And the final funny issue that came up in the questioning of the majority leader had to do with the motion that Mahama Yarega, the MP for Boku Central, had filed seeking that the House reject the constitutional instrument on the new voters register. The majority leader had a response. He says that the majority side of the House is ready to debate the issue if the Speaker decides to admit it for possible conversation.
Interesting development in Parliament. You heard our correspondent Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Now, the government of Ghana says it's allowing 245 citizens being deported by Kuwait to return home despite the closure of Ghana's borders. At a news conference in Accra today, Information Minister Kojo Ponkrumah said the deportees will be quarantined upon arrival.
The government of Kuwait has further requested permission from the government of Ghana to bring these persons into the Ghanaian jurisdiction. The government of Ghana has subsequently granted a special permit for the admission of the said deportees to Ghana. Now, this deportation comes at a time when Ghana's borders remain closed to human travel as part of the international travel restrictions under Ghana's COVID-19 response program. The deportees will be mandatorily quarantined and tested for COVID-19 immediately upon arrival into Ghana. Number two, deportees who test positive will be given the necessary supportive treatment. Deportees who test negative will remain in quarantine for a second test at the end of a 14-day quarantine period.
Now, he adds that Ghanaians aiding people to get into the country legally will be sanctioned.
There ought to be some sanctions, and indeed instructions have been given that sanctions must apply particularly to Ghanaians who are in the business of aiding and abetting people without authority to cross now that our borders are closed. The little nuance in that is that as part of the COVID-19 response program, you would notice that arrests, keeping people in custody and related matters are very sensitive and therefore are not handled with the normal dispatch and, may I say, even aggression that you see. Indeed, we had one incident here in Accra where some persons arrested, put in police custody, later tested positive, police persons associated, you have to go along with it. So now, even for the police and the prison service, they have a protocol that when people are, for example, sentenced, or people have to be put in custody, they are not commingled with the general population. And so that affects how quickly you can see some of these things in terms of the sanctions side also happening. But those sanctions must happen. I do know that instructions have been given that we should find a way of getting those sanctions applied quickly and announced so that it serves as a deterrent to other persons.
An update. There was also an update on Ghanaians who were stranded abroad.
A lot of data has been gathered. What we are going to do is to treat it on a case-by-case basis. All the other categories, as I mentioned, will also be examined on a case-by-case basis. And where the examination shows clearly that it is possible to handle it in a manner that does not pose a risk to the general population, I'm sure the decisions that are made thereon, as we are doing this morning, even at this short notice, will be communicated to us. So as at now, no firm decision has been made in a blanket manner. It's been handled on a case-by-case basis. Can I give an update on the data that has been gathered so far? The numbers are in the thousands, as in the numbers of persons who have given us information about their status. I hope you understand me. I'm not saying that thousands of people want to come back. I just need to be very clear on that.
Information Minister Kojo Ponkrumah. This is the Midday News. You're on Joy 99.7 FM, also live on myjoyonline.com as well as on Facebook. Now, in the last few days, a national conversation has started on what the new normal will be if President Akufo-Addo relaxes restrictions on social gatherings. Currently, schools, churches and mosques have been shut to reduce spread of the virus, but government has said with no vaccines or cures found, it's time to live our normal lives while observing the protocols to prevent spread. What do you think about that? The AM show on Multi TV spoke to some people.
To me, right now, I feel like a child without a father. You see, in Upper West here, it is not easy to live with this virus. We deal with a lot of people. If you go to our rural communities, you see how our schools are crowded. And you know that in Ghana, we are not disciplined as a people.
I don't know how we are going to cope with this issue, this virus, as part of our normal life in our schools. Assume in my class, for instance, I'm at the secondary school. One of my class has a population of about 40-something, the least. So assuming the students come back to school, how are we going to do social distancing?
It's going to be very difficult living with this COVID-19. 45% of the public schools were not inclusive, especially those in the rural areas. And now that we are going to live with this pandemic, it is going to be something terrible for most of it.
We are still living, life still continues.
Okay.
So we are hoping that measures will be put in place. We will go back to school with some measures to minimize the spread of coronavirus.
We should adapt to the new normal that we have. There is no way this pandemic will ease completely, and there is no way we're going to get vaccine before.
We should also be thinking about the family. They come in contact with so many people. They are the ones handling our food. And when we bring the food to the market, we need to also educate the people that this is what they have to do. None of this has been done. Our district assemblies are not doing anything in the market area.
Some of your thoughts that you shared with the AM show on the Joy News channel. Remember, it's free to air on all digital platforms. Now, we'll go to the Jubilee House shortly, where the swearing in of new Supreme Court judges are underway when we join Presidential Affairs correspondent Elton Brobe. But first, in many communities in Ghana, funerals are occasions when lots of people come together to mourn and pay final respects. But the outbreak of COVID-19 has meant only a handful of people can come together for private burials. Wondering how people do it, Joy News' Beryl and Nestina Richter witnessed a private burial by a Ga family at Osu, and her report is read to you.
Family and friends mourn the loss of their loved one, Rosamond Makudowona. They wail and burst into dirges as the remains of their loved one lies in state at the Cornelius Adumwa Dowona Way in Osu. There are no comforting hugs or handshakes. As the people mourn, they are also mindful of contracting the virus. An elder of the family, Jonathan Note Dowona, explains they decided to strictly abide by the restrictions on social gathering, even during the planning of the burial and funeral of their deceased relative.
It was decided at the pre-burial meeting on 28 April to abide by the President's directive. We only allowed them to briefly extend their condolences to the family.
One of the main features, according to Ga customs and traditions, that precedes the baton of the corpse is Kochagbamo. This rite is very significant among the Ga people. Here is Nomo Blafo III, Ga Blafo Wulomo of Asre.
Currently, it's done in a way as if people are going to marriage or something. But during this period, you find about 2 or 3 people just carrying this thing to where they're supposed to take it, or to the house where the Kojagbamo will be performed. Before, the few people who just go and bat the corpse, they will only go to the mortuary.
Dennis Ni Ajay is one of the sons of the deceased. He strongly believes his late mother would be happy with the family's decision to organize a small gathering.
I know and believe that she will be very happy.
An elder of the family and cousin of the deceased, Michael Nimate, admits it has not been an easy decision.
After the outbreak of coronavirus, we had a lot of disagreement on the date for the burial and funeral. Eventually, we made a decision to bury him quickly due to the President's directive. This is a special burial because the usual comment about shortage of food and drinks associated with large funerals is absent.
A whole lot of things will happen here.
There are concerns that certain aspects of our unique culture may be relegated to the background, but Nomo Blafo III disagrees. He maintains large and extravagant funerals that have become the norm these days It's a departure from the traditional culture.
Before, in fact, the funeral, that is the wakekeeping, the funeral, and then the next day at the Chani, it got to a point where even during the funeral, that is where you see people even cooking on the grounds of the funeral, which wasn't done before. But today, in fact, it even becomes more like a party or even a wakekeeping. So the pandemic, I would say, has taken us back to where we were before. And to me, it's more, if we can just maintain it and sustain this, then more of the culture will be seen.
As the coronavirus pandemic persists, people will have to come to terms with organizing more private burials. Perhaps the virus is painfully teaching families to spend more money on the living and not the dead. Beryl and Estina Richter's report for Joy News.
Definitely not in ordinary times. Still to come here on the Midday News, Deputy Upper West Regional Minister slashed with machete by suspected armed robbers during a walk. We have the very latest on that. And then also we are up close with self-acclaimed African dancehall king Shatta Wale, who will stop at nothing to wow his wild fans.
That's why everybody like my team.
So like me like this, they will call me Kinsley Phillips. Phillips, yeah, but because of situation in the economy, so Charles Nyama Mensah, very local.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation over the past 45 years. We've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products, and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
Thanks for choosing the best. Let's do sports now. Hans Mesando.
Ghana FA President Keto Kweku says former Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah going public on his unpaid salary was unfortunate. Coach Appiah, who left the job last December, has been in the news for some time now, demanding his money, which amounts to $185,000 US. Keto Kweku, speaking on the issue for the first time, says he did not expect Coach Appiah to bring the matter out in public. He spoke to Ghana Web.
It's most unfortunate, honestly speaking. I would not want the FA, and for that matter, the government, to come into the public space in that manner. Indeed, we initiated the processes, and everybody know, including Kwesi Appiah, know the processes that are involved. He knows, and we all know, that the FA engaged him, but the FA doesn't pay his salaries. Okay, the Ministry of Youth and Sports are responsible for payment of salaries of our national team coaches, and they do it via the sponsorship from GNPC. So it's a bit of like a triangle, so to say. So there are processes that one has to go through. At times it does end quickly. At times it does delay. It's unfortunate that he went public, but it is his singular prerogative.
Ghana Football Association President Keto Kweku. And Emefa, you know how much your favorite, not London club, English club, Manchester United, have lost as a result of COVID. £28 million so far the club has lost. And they expect that by the time this is over, the figure is going to be much, much higher.
All other clubs are affected as well, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Thank you very much, Hans Mensah Ando. Now let's talk about the latest additions to the Apex Court of Ghana. The ceremony is currently underway. They are being sworn in by President Akufo-Addo. Presidential Affairs correspondent Elton Brobe joins us on the line. Elton, bring us up to speed on the ceremony.
So, Emefa, in brief, there's a clear departure from the norm. Usually you will find all of them line up to go through the swearing-in ceremony, but because of the protocol and social distancing, President Akufo-Addo is taking Justice Honeywiga through this afternoon, and at 3 p.m., Justice Imo Otanko will take his turn. What is happening now is that Justice Honeywiga is going through the traditional swearing-in ceremony, the oath of allegiance, oath of office, and the oath of secrecy. When he is done, he will be presented with the instrument of office. And at 3 p.m., we'll have Justice Imo Otanko if they are successful, it will bring the number of Supreme Court judges to 15. At a later day, hopefully Monday or Tuesday, Yoni Kolendi and Professor Marietta Mensah will also take their turn. So for now, we are going through the swearing-in ceremony. When they are done, they will hear the traditional speeches.
Thank you very much. That's Elton Brobes, our presidential affairs correspondent. We'll head to the Upper West region where the Deputy Regional Minister Amidu China Isahaku was last night attacked by suspected armed robbers during a walk. Mr. Isahaku is said to have been slashed with a machete around his residence. The Upper West Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Police Service, Inspector Gideon Boating, says the Deputy Minister sustained deep wounds from the machete.
He was attacked, according to my information. He was having a walk around 8:30, and he was attacked close to his residence. The two guys were on their motorbike with cutlass. So they attacked him. They wounded him on the arm, the right arm, and police quickly on the arm, normal patrol. So they reached there. He was assisted to them and was admitted.
Did they take anything away from him?
They didn't take it.
Are you going to investigate?
Yeah, we are seriously investigating it, and we are. You see, that's why we always say that the motorbike patrol is helping us. But if police had been there before the incident, we would have chased them with them, whilst we are also using the motorbike. Okay. But unfortunately, we didn't get them matter.
That's Inspector Gideon Boating, the Upper West Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Police Service. Correspondent Rafiq Salam has updates. Tell us how the Deputy Minister is doing.
The Deputy Minister is at Homeland Clinic, a private clinic located just about 3 football fields away from his house. He is doing well. Doctors who are attending to him are saying that his condition is stable, and I also managed to have a word with him, and he told me that he tried to do a walkabout after breaking his fast yesterday, and then also these unknown assailants and then in their attempt to slash him with a machete, he tried to use his right arm to block them, and then in that process he injured. He had a wound, deep cut on the right arm, and so he's currently receiving treatment. But the information from the police is that they are ready for any handsome reward. Anybody who comes with the information, they are ready to give him handsome reward.
Okay, suspects have been picked up just yet?
No, they have started the investigation yet at the moment, but they are saying that anybody who comes forward with information leading to arrest of these 2 unknown assailants, they'll give him a hands-on reward. But they have not given the amount, the price tag on it.
Okay. That's our correspondent, Rafiq Salam, bringing us details on that attack on the Deputy Upper West Regional Minister. Time for entertainment. It's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
And guess who is on Spotlight?
Okay. Let's take a listen.
He used to be this.
Bandana from Ghana,
but now the 35-year-old has seen what some say is a rebirth.
That's why everybody like my thing, like my thing, like my thing.
Since Shatta bounced back, he hasn't looked back.
My dad is from Ghana, and my mom is from Ghana. Because my mom is from the Volta region. I know Volta region because of the slave trade and the white people plenty, they born for them. So I believe one of my great grandfathers was a white guy. So like me, like this, they will call me Kingsley Phillips. Yeah, but because of situation in the economy, so Charles Nyama Mensah, very local.
But Charles Nyama Mensah has stayed with you for a very long time.
Yeah, Charles, I like the name Charles, bold and strong.
Has it been a blessing to you?
Well, it's been like, some guidance to my life, because anytime I think about my name, I go like, yeah, it works, because that's the type of human being I am, bold and strong.
Shatta Wale's followership is crazy, and he loves to be the talking point too. Fans won't care much about his personal life, his family life, simply are in for the music. Whether once a day release or carefully produced collaborations with Kwame Eugene, Samini, or even the biggest with Beyonce novels, we are all up and here for the music. He and another dancehall artist, Stonebwoy, were the center of all the controversies during the 2019 VGMA when the two squared up on stage. Both have since smoked the peace pipe, even though they remain in court over charges of disturbing public peace among others.
Any artist that tries Shatta Wale is going to go down.
If there's anything we know about Shatta Wale, it is the fact that he is passionate about what he does.
Shatta Wale is very passionate about what he does, and he is bent on changing things in the music industry.
And he's worth celebrating. Kingsley Phillips is there.
Yes.
Okay, and that's it for the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news, of course, when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Thanks so much.